Hi, this is Melody. Just wanted to share with you guys some of the ATCs, artist trading cards, that I've made. I haven't made any in a while, but I'm thinking that I'll probably get back into that really soon because they are very fun and you can kind of get your, what is it, gratification for creating or doing something artsy, and it's just really fun. This is one I made. The background is a napkin, and the punch is from my Martha Stewart punch. This is a digital image. I do have her in a stamp, but the stamp is really, really huge. And then I have another smaller stamp that's closer to this size that I found a while back. I believe she's called Juliana or Julietta. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I know she's used on a lot of home decor items. I got her through Harder's Images when he had a digital website up. And I colored her eyes in with colored pencils. And this one, I made this one for myself, but I had joined a swap on Creative Souls, and it was to do something with flowers. So I made her, and I kept one for myself. And this cute little frame I got at Walmart for like $1.99, and it's, I'm not sure, I think it's resin. These are some of my stamped ones. This is a stamped image, and then I did the over stamping thing where you stamp something else with the mask. And so what I did is I masked off the part of the clock that I didn't want to use. In the background is chalk ink and some of the Adirondack Tim Holtz sprays back when they came in the big bottle that I purchased from Joann.com. This is another image. She's stamped, and I colored her lips in with colored pencil. There's chalk ink on the background and some, I don't know if you can see, but that's like a burnished gold pigment ink. This is one of my favorites. This one I stamped with sepia ink on watercolor paper, and then I colored her in with twinkling H2Os, and I used a little bit of a metallic colored pencil on her eyes, and then I edged it in the chalk ink. She's one of my favorites. This is also one of my favorites. I just couldn't trade with her. I was so proud of myself with the way she turned out. This is let's see, watercolor paper, acrylic, sponged paint background. This is I think this is a Waterhouse image that I found on the internet, and then I used some of the thick chunky glitter glue that can't remember the brand, but you can find it at any craft store or Michael's. And I colored her eye in with metallic colored pencils, and I did a little bit of, you probably can't see it, but I did a little bit of going over the colors of the mermaid with my other metallic colored pencils. And she's on, no, that's not, sorry, not watercolor paper, it's a heavyweight chipboard. This one is just a simple one, a stamped image. In a minute, Ava. This is a Stampington and Company stamp. I think it's a Da Vinci image. And my background is 2 or 3 colors of the Tim Holtz Adirondack ink just sprayed onto the paper, and then I like splattered water on them and just waited to see what would happen, and then I stamped over it. This is another one of my favorite images of the lady again, and I cut her out, collaged her onto this watercolor background that I painted, and then I added these transparent bird stickers to her. I also colored her in and gave her a little bit of makeup spun with my colored pencils. This gorgeous one is another digital image that I cut out, and I colored in her skin tone, her eyes, and I used another transparent sticker on her. She's on heavyweight chipboard. This one, I got the image off of a really nice gentleman from the Flickr group, one of my Flickr groups, and he has a lot of Asian and ethnic images, and he doesn't mind sharing them with you as long as you check in with him. His name is Okinawa Soba on Flickr. Very nice gentleman. And the paper and the flowers are from Basic Gray's Curio collection. And I tore a paper. This is pastel pencil. I colored her in with colored pencils, and then I edged her with metallic ink, and then edged the flowers and the outer card with black pigment ink. This is my little ode to steampunk. I punched these dragonflies and birds with my Martha Stewart punches from Cereal Box, and this raised background, it's dry embossed using a Tim Holtz embossing folder. This is pigment ink, chalk ink. I used 2 different chalk inks, and then I used pigment ink to edge the background. This background is also the bustier or corset is cut from the same Cereal Box, and I painted over it with white, then I inked over it with black, then I went back over it with 2 or 3 different chalk inks. These are my acrylic ones. I used my Sizzix die for the ATC. This image I got offline, and I colored it with Tim Holtz alcohol inks, and then I just adhered it to the acrylic, which I had also colored with alcohol inks. This is another one. I hope you can see her. It's kind of creepy looking. I found this image online from another one of my Flickr groups, and the little girl just had such stunning eyes. I was like, oh wow, she looked good as like a statue or whatever. So I tried to do like that mottled effect, like when brick and marble starts to change color over time. And she's paper, and I adhered her to the acrylic card after I cut it out and colored it with the alcohol inks. Let's see. This one is stamped, and then she's speckled with a kind of copper embossing powder, and then I used Luminart on the same cardboard, cereal board, birds and dragonfly from my Martha Stewart punch, and then I put it over. I took the embossing pad and I rubbed it all over, and then I threw clear embossing powder on it, and I heat set it so she's got like a glaze texture to her when you actually touch it, and I inked it in pigment ink. This one's watercolor paper using my Adirondack sprays again, and then there's stamping, and this is a stamped image that I colored in with ink, and then I collaged it onto the card. This is another one with this one I stamped on like a rough texture watercolor paper. Inked the edges, more of my cardboard painted dragonflies from my Martha Stewart punch, and then I did the copper speckle embossing, and then I went over it with the clear embossing, so everything has a filmy, smooth texture to it. And these are my hand-drawn ATCs. Let's see, there's an ink background. I just used a colored pencil, and then I went over it with marker. This is an image that I drew myself, and I think it's on watercolor paper. If not watercolor paper, it's Bristol paper. This is another one I did using chalk ink, markers, and I outlined her in Sharpie on watercolor paper. This one, her hair, I colored with pastels and color pencils. Her skin is colored with color pencils. There's some Sharpie on here. She's outlined in charcoal pencil. She's on watercolor paper that I colored. This one is, let's see, I used acrylic paint to give her the pale skin. It's my little version of Marie Antoinette. There's Sharpie marker there, some regular markers, and acrylic paints. And that's it. Thanks for watching.